Hello again. This is Aaron Koopman from Collinear Group. In our first episode, we introduced the high-level roadmap with the 5 stages that we are often asked to help with. And now I want to dive a little deeper into the first stage, the starting point of certification, the stage where you have some sort of working prototype, component, or part or vehicle, and you want to know how to certify it. So what does this phase look like? It's hallmarked by two things. One, you're starting to approach established companies that may buy your product, or you're starting to approach investors for funding so that you can proceed with more development, refinement, or manufacturing of your innovation. Challenges in this phase are that you should have already been thinking about FAA certification in mind when you were working on the design, but probably haven't. Also, the prototype is not just a product missing FAA approval. Very often, prototypes undergo significant design changes to meet certification requirements. Another challenge is that you don't know how to answer investor questions about certification. How long will it take and what will it cost? So how can Collinear help? What we have helped clients do is let you speak with someone that's knowledgeable in your area, of the component or vehicle, and talk about different paths to certification. If you're developing an innovative vehicle, you might have access to a number of experts, but you might need some special expertise in a certain area like propulsion or batteries or avionics. And we can provide a high-level assessment with these special experts to give you insights and information on the likely FAA tests and evaluation processes. These are sometimes referred to as DO 160 environmental testing or DO 178 software certification process. There are SAE processes out there also. The certification milestones and timing that you could expect with your device or product, the risk to impact risk that would impact cost or schedule, some mitigation strategies to address these risks, and recommendation of subject matter experts that can help with proceeding on these mitigation strategies. So with this certification assessment in hand, you can make better plans. You can speak more confidently about certification to your investors and answer questions about certification timing and some of the different strategies for certifying your product down the road. In our first episode, we talked about looking at certification through the eyes of the Wright brothers. So what would the Wright brothers have done with a certification assessment after Kitty Hawk? They had a prototype that was rail launched, flew for 12 seconds. How would Collinear have helped them at that stage of their development? I believe we could have helped them make more informed development decisions. Would they continue to develop the technology, or did they need to satisfy investors that there was a viable path to commercialization and profits? If they needed at least a path to commercialization, they would need to know what requirements the airplane needed to certify to. Would it be a rail launch vehicle that flew for 12 seconds? Probably not. So obviously they needed to work on performance, longer flights, passenger carrying capability, but with safety requirements in mind, they would have begun to think about what else their vehicle needed to have to meet certification requirements. They could still work on development, but they'd be better informed on what it would mean to have a certified vehicle. And better information means better plans. The FAA regulations allow for development and experimentation. You just can't do it while you're flying paying customers around. It doesn't cost much to have this kind of plan to certification and commercialization, but not having a plan can be very expensive. Please join us for our next episode where we talk about the stage in which you have a product or a modified part that's ready for certification.